Today I want to go over 3 ways you can make your beats more interesting, and I'm going to do it by breaking down one of my most recent beats called Shapes. So as I said, I'm going to give you guys 3 tips in this video on how you can make your beats sound a little bit different and stand out and sound a little bit more unique. Number 1 is you want to make your beats unique right from the get-go. And a little bit of a quick warning, this tip is going to be the hardest to master out of the other tips that I cover in this video. What I mean by this is you want your melody and your drums, essentially you want all the components of your track to already be unique themselves before you try and add that extra flair on top. If you don't have the core of the beat right, there's really not much you can do to make your beat stand out by adding extra things or arranging. They're just not going to be able to fix what's already broken. Truthfully, it takes time to develop your own sense of style and sound, and building complex and effective melodies and drum patterns is definitely not an easy thing to do. But really the key to achieving your own sound is experimentation. It's essential to experiment with what you have in order to achieve something new. Thinking outside the box, as corny as it may sound, is so critical for making unique beats. What I like to do is experiment with new sounds, with perks, hi-hat patterns, and then also just try new melodies, try new scales, new chords. That's often where a new idea comes from, or an idea I've never really seen played with before. For this beat, I used one of my own samples called Shapes. Here's what that sounds like. And then I put together the core of this beat around some interesting perks and a fast hi-hat pattern. Here's what the core of the track sounds like. As you can see, there's a lot going on. I have an accent snare, I've got pitched hi-hats, and then a bunch of perk sounds. And they don't just repeat on a 4-bar loop, but I'm actually changing those sounds up as a full 8-bar loop plays. With that out of the way, number 2 is play with your arrangement and switch-ups. This is one of the easiest ways you can make a track more appealing and more engaging. For arrangement, you can play around with different chorus, bridge, verse configurations, mostly to give space and build momentum throughout the beat. And then for switch-ups, throughout the song, depending on those configurations, you can either add or remove elements or change them to add variation to the beat as it plays. The track that I'm talking about in this video has 3 main parts. The first is the hook part that I played at the beginning where all the drums are in and the main sample is playing. The second is a verse part where I pitched the melody up and changed some of the drums around and removed some drums. And the third is a half-speed section where I bounced down all the tracks and then half-speeded them. Half-speeded, is that a verb? I bounced those down and then half-speeded those. To give it this cool effect, here's what that sounds like. I also added this bridge where I have a Moog bass play. You want your track to feel like a story. You want it to change up. You want it to have a climax. You want it to have build up to keep the intensity and ultimately have the most interesting beat possible. Adding variations in arrangement can take a boring beat to an appealing one very fast, and it's not that hard to do. Number 3 is transitions. Transitions, I find, are something that often separate amateur producers from really good ones. And it's still something that I'm working on getting better at. Here's a snippet from one of Cody's recent beats. I think it totally demonstrates how a great transition can add so much energy. So as I said, transitions are great for adding energy and maintaining the force of the beat. For example, you can make a drop hit so much harder when you add some extra elements to lead up to the drop. In this beat, I created a transition out of a few different elements to add to the drop and to transition between the different arrangements. First off, I added this whoosh sound effect. Then I also played out this pattern with boom bap drums, and then I pitched those down and added some vinyl effects. Then finally I added one of our producer tags.
We have created.
So here's what the transition to the hook sounds like before adding those sounds. And then here's what it sounds like after I add those 3 sounds in. Obviously this isn't some sort of crazy drop, but not every song is that way. Anyways, point is, transitions can make a track so much more interesting, they can add energy, and can really take your track to the next level. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this short video. If you have any questions, you can comment those down below, and with that, I'll see you next Friday.